Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. I'm your host Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome everybody. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Resistance Intersystem Transport Ship, released in 2019. Now this ship was first seen in Star Wars Datapad, which is a video game, but also if you're interested in seeing a 1/1 scale replica of this bad boy, check out the Rise of the Resistance ride at Disney World. Now, for a little background about this ship, if you're wondering why it sorta looks familiar, well, that's because it's made by the Corellian Engineering Company. You know, the same company that produced the CR-90 and many other vessels similar in design. This ship is smaller than the CR-90, and it's mostly for transporting cargo and troops. Now, looking at the ship, right off the bat, I see a CR-90 and I see the engines from a U-Wing or an X-Wing starfighter. So I definitely see, just like the TIE Echelon, they took different elements from well-known ships and combined them together. And you know what? I'm not going to lie, it works, and I do like this design quite a bit. Now for the size of this particular miniature, we're looking at about 4.5 inches long, which is really good. So if you're new to the channel, what I like to do is, we're going to take a look at the mold, the paint, put on a stain, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. Alright, let's kick this video off looking at the mold. Just like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the item, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So first, let's go over the main points. We have our bridge in the front, recessed in, painted, looking very nice. I like that quite a bit. We could definitely see the hammerhead configuration of the CR-90 here, except it's more beefed up with armor. But very nice shape. One more thing about the front of the vessel, we do have turrets that rotate, so let's take a quick look at them. Now, when it comes to the twin laser cannons, like I said, they do rotate, and you can see they can go all the way around. They're a little loose, like you could just tap them and they move, but nicely done. It's the same goes for this side. They can spin all the way around. Very nice. I think that came out great. They didn't need to do it, but I'm glad they did. That was pretty cool. So moving on from there, the whole top plate here is full of armor plating, which looks amazing. And once again, we will have a closer look of all the fine details later on. Great stuff. On the sides, we have our main entryway. This big panel right here should open out this way. And where the blue is would open out this way going up. So that's pretty cool. We have some decals on here. More detailing all throughout the bottom. 4 screws holding it together, 2 peg ports, and 1 copyright crab right there. Looking good. I love all the little doodads and pipes and whatnot. Very nice. And again, we have this side right here. Looking good. And then on the aft section, we have 8 engines. 4 small ones and 4 bigger ones, which look like beefed up X-Wing or U-Wing engines. And you can see they are recessed. There is what looks to be fan blades in there. We'll have a closer look in a little bit. But very nice, very detailed, I will add. Pretty cool. Now back here, there should be a turret. But I really don't see where that is, except if it's that black thing right there. But it should have aft weaponry. But very interesting. A great design in my opinion. So now that covers all the major points that I know about this vessel. So now let's have a closer look. Now having a closer look at the intersystem transport, let's begin looking at the front of the ship and work our way to the aft on the bottom. As we can see, we have some raised sections here, some nice pieces on the edges. Fantastically done. I think this came out great. Moving down, we have some beautiful molding. I like that quite a bit. And what I really like about this model, besides the familiar shape, is all this armor and different angles here and there. Like, look at this, where my thumb is. I love that. I like how light bounces off all those different edges. Really nice. Same goes for this side. Beautifully done. I love all the angles here. We have some raised paneling on the side here, as well as this side. Looking good. Coming to the bottom, we have our copyright crap. And look at the sides. All these doodads and little pipes and hoses. Great stuff. Really cool. I think they did a great job with this one. And we have these nice sections here. Our screw, more doodads and molding. Beautiful. China. 2 peg holes right there. More detailing. And then we have our sides, which look amazing. I love this. I wish maybe Hasbro would get this so this could open up. That would be so dope. But what are you going to do? Coming on this side now. It's almost identical, but very nicely done. I love this. I think it looks great. Coming towards the center, we have our last screw. You can see this beautiful detailing, and then it sort of flattens out in the back. And you can see how the paint is on there. All weird looking when it's dried. Very interesting. And I do like these recesses on the sides as well. Pretty cool. Now for the top of the vessel. Well, you know what? Let's look at the cockpit. Here we have our cockpit, which, it's recessed in and painted black. Nothing really to it. But very nice nonetheless. For the sides, we have our twin laser cannons, which are nicely molded, I'm not going to lie. And then in the interior, we have all these beautiful molded sections in here. All recessed in. Looking pretty good. And it's basically the same for the other side. Look at all the doodads in there. Amazing. I think that came out great. Pretty dope. Now, coming up to the top of the head, we could see all that detail start to come in. And that dark gray paint just sort of goes on everything. It doesn't cover anything for the most part, but it does highlight some nice detailing. It's basically a dry brush, and it works. Look at all this on the side. We have this nice hose here, or a pipe. Looking good. Great stuff. Even in the back of the command section, we have these raised sections. Looking very nice. Coming up to the main body, we have this beautiful section here. Again, more modules. And look at all this. This section here is where the ship shines. Amazingly done with all these raised sections, recesses. Looks like a bunch of doors here or panels. Great stuff. This really looks cool. And I love the grate in the back. Very nice. And then it sort of tapers off to the back. Beautifully done. I just love the detailing on here. I think they did an amazing job. Very nice. So now for the back. Now, a lot of people say it's supposed to be a turret. But I guess we could say it is. I'm going to say it is. But yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Very nicely done. Some interesting molding in here. We definitely have a couple molded sections on that black sphere. Pretty cool. Now finally, let's take a look at these engines. For the interiors, look at that. We have our fans in there. Looking amazing. They did a beautiful job with these. Excellent. The same goes for this side. Look at that. Amazing. Same goes for the bottom. Beautifully done. I think that came out great. There's no paint inside of it, but it's pretty dope. Looking at these sides, we'll start with the bottom. You can see they are beautifully detailed on here. Very nicely done. These are plastic, but I think the molding is pretty nice. Again, look at it. It's covered. Very nice. And in the back, we have our thruster sections, which are painted silver. A little sloppy here and there, but not bad at all. Very nice. I think that came out great. Detailed all the way around. Sorry about that. Excellent. And the same goes for this side. There's no real differences between the two. You can see everything is molded pretty well. I think it came out great. And I love the little pylon sections, the wings down here that connect the engines to the main body. Looking good. And then we have our thruster sections. Oddly enough, not recessed in. Sort of pops out like a Hershey Kiss. Interesting. Now for these little engines, let me see how close I could get. As you can see, there is a fan in there, or a turbine I should say. Looking good. And then we have molding on the sides. It's very minimal, but it's there. Then we have our thruster sections, which again look great, and these are actually recessed in and molded. Very nice, even on the bottom. Beautifully done. You can see again, not really any molding except for the very side of it. And on this side, you can see the molding. And then on the bottom, we have our fans or turbines. Very nice. And that's everything I have to say about the mold. In short, I hope I covered everything. There's not that much data on this vessel on the internet or in books, so hopefully I did it justice. It is a beautiful looking ship. So now let's take a look at the paint. And now looking at that paint on the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Resistance Intersystem Transport, wow, that's a mouthful. This baby has about 7 different colors on it, so let's go through them. First off is a nice light gray. It's the main color of the ship, and you can see where they tried to match the die cast to the plastic. And for the most part, they did a decent job. Like you could definitely tell from the top from the bottom. But when you have it on a shelf on a stand, you could hardly notice. Moving on from there, we have dark gray, which just like the TIE Echelon, is sort of slapped on here and there. I will say this, the paint on this, for me anyway, is a little better than the TIE Echelon. Yeah, it's heavy in some areas, like the front here, but it's not hiding any detail or covering other important paint applications, such as the window for the bridge or something like that. You can see it's a little heavy here and there on the engines, but not bad at all. I actually like it quite a bit. See, it's not really on the back that much, but it is on the top and sides. Very interesting. Moving on from there, we have sky blue around the cockpit right here, or the bridge, if you will. Very nicely done, very bright. I dig that quite a bit. Now, besides being around the command center, we do have little doodads painted in all throughout the top, around the engines, and of course, the sides of the vessel. Looking very good. Kind of digging the blue. Pretty sick. Now moving on from there, we do have blue and white and black and yellow for these decals. Now I looked up many images of this ship from the Rise of the Resistance theme park ride, and these decals are on the main ship itself. So that's pretty nice. And the colors match as well, based on the pictures I saw. So right on. Moving on from there, we do have some more black, which is located right here on this doodad. The bridge window, which looks awesome. And also in the aft of the ship, which, you know what, I'm going to say it's the turret. Because there should be one on here, and that sort of looks odd. So, it's a turret. And if somebody knows what that really is, let me know. And finally, our last color we're going to talk about today is silver on the thrusters of the engines. And it looks great. I love that they painted that. As you can see, it looks very shiny, very metallic, whatever you want to say. I dig it. I think it came out amazing. Very nice. So all in all, we have some great paint applications on a very cool looking ship. So that does it for the mold as well as the paint. So now let's put this baby back on the stand, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. And just like other Galaxy's Edge vehicles, it does come with a nice base. Here we can see the Rebel or Resistance insignia, recessed in with a nice texture. Looking good. We have our pylon with 2 pegs. And for the underneath, it's basically hollow with some copyright crap. So anyway, how to attach this? You get the 2 peg ports on your ship, match them up with the pegs. You might have to use a little bit of force to get it down on there. But once it's in, just like that everybody, you are good to go. And now for a quick size comparison with the Galaxy's Edge Resistance Intersystem Transport seen in the center First, on the right hand side, we have the Hot Wheels Star Wars Cloud Car, looking great. And finally, on the left hand side, we have the Galaxy's Edge TIE Echelon, another great looking vessel there. And if you're interested in seeing reviews of any of these ships I talked about today, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Resistance Intersystem Transport Ship released in 2019. Now, I really enjoy this ship. For the mold, it's very cool, it's unique, I love it. It has rotating cannons on the sides of the command section, and just like the TIE Echelon, it does have a lot of attributes of other vessels. We have the shape of the CR-90, the Tantum 4, mixed in with engines from the U-Wing or the X-Wing, depending on, which one you want to pick. The engines are similar. I really dig it. I think the design works well, and I'm shocked that it didn't end up in a movie, or maybe it did. Now, when it comes to the paint, I think they did a great job on this particular piece. I really enjoyed looking at the gray and the blue working together. I think they go great with the different black pieces as well as the silver thrusters. Very nice. Now, moving on, it does also come with a stand, which helps it blend in with the rest of the Galaxy's Edge collection. And that's basically everything I have to say about this awesome transport today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, smash that like button. And if you'd like to see new videos every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for everyone out there who's taken time out of your day to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.